I'd like to talk about something that came up the other day that I think is important, not only for the person who brought it up, but for just about all of us. And, look, we're all an accumulation of a lifetime of tension. We have layers upon layers of it inside ourselves that need to be transformed into openness, into love, into joy. And the meditation practice is about this. It's about really, it's like Rudy always compared it to dredging a river. When you dredge a river, everything comes up to the surface, all the garbage, and then they can flush all the garbage out of the river. And our work is no different. It's like homeopathic medicine. In order to get rid of the disease, they give you the disease. It brings it up to the surface, and then they can flush it out of your system. So if you come to class and it's difficult and you're having a hard time afterwards, this is part of the process. The process is getting rid of the things inside us that have been literally keeping us mentally and emotionally prisoners. And it's really an escape from ourselves. But in order to escape that mental and emotional prison, we got to release everything. The prison, the cell door has to open, and all the garbage that has been accumulated in a lifetime, it's coming out, it's being released, and you're going to feel the effects of that. So if that kind of thing happens to you, then I wouldn't get too concerned about it. In fact, it's a sign of remarkable growth, that you're getting free of the stuff that has been keeping you in prison, in a mental and emotional prison, just about all your lifetime. And meditation is for that. We want to be with God. We want to have a spiritual life. Meanwhile, we're all sitting in a jail cell that we've created around ourselves. And we have to find a way to get free of that, again, that mental and emotional prison that we have manufactured inside us that is keeping us from ever being happy. So the work is about release. It's about surrender. It's about letting go. And if you let go, stuff will come to the surface. That stuff will come to the surface, will create disease. And I'm saying dis-ease, not disease. It'll make you feel shitty. Okay, but then it's going to flow out of your system and you're going to go to a completely different level of your life. Your heart's going to open that much more. There's going to be more love. There's going to be more patience with yourself, and there's going to be that evolutionary process inside that enables a human being to move from level to level to level within themselves. Meditation is for that purpose. It's twofold. We want to be one with God. We also want to be human beings. Now, neither of these things are going to work if we don't get free of our mental and emotional prison for the 96th time. So, look, I mean, when this kind of stuff comes up, it just means you're growing. It means you're really releasing things that have been, buried inside you most of your life and that have created amazing problems, physical, mental, emotional, sexual, et cetera, problems for people, that have kept them from functioning on the highest possible level they can function on a day-to-day basis. So I just wanted to talk about that because it came up the other day. And I think it's not only important from the person it came up from, but it's for all of us. Because I don't think anybody doesn't go through this. I remember when I first started doing Rudy's meditation, I think I was into it for 3 months, 4 months or something. And I'll never forget, every day after one of his classes, I would go into the bathroom and I'd throw up. And at first it kind of freaked me out. And then I said, no, Stuart, you're getting rid of poison. You're getting rid of all the stuff, the drugs, the this, the everything you did to manufacture all of that poison. And now it's physically getting rid of it also. And then after about a week, 10 days of that, it went away. It stopped happening. But I understood profoundly the need to release. And you release it in many ways. So if you go through that kind of thing, just keep working a little deeper and open your heart, and it'll go away. It'll pass. And when it passes, you're going to come out of it on a completely different level in your life. Does anyone have a question they would like to ask? I'm not saying it's easy, but it's certainly worth the effort. Because the whole secret of getting to God is really getting free of oneself. That's it. No more complicated than that. We got to get free of us in order to embrace higher energy in the universe. Does anyone have a question they would like to ask?
I have a question, Stuart. My friend that I've been working with as a death doula for 3 weeks passed this morning at 2 a.m. and I was with her. And I wanted to read for a few days the Tibetan Book of the Dead to her, some of the passages. And someone said 7 days and someone said 49 days. And I wondered what your experience is with that, if they had asked that to be a possibility.
You want my interpretation of the Tibetan? But I don't know. I read that book 47 years ago. I mean, look, if you love somebody and you're compassionate about their condition, and you can spend 10 minutes reading from that, and it can do them a world of good.
Okay.
I don't know if it's 5 days, 7 days, a million days. I mean, it really depends upon whether you're open inside and whether there's compassion and there's love for that person. And then 10 minutes of doing that. I mean, I've spent weeks working with people, not reading from the Tibetan Book of the Dead, but doing bardo work with them.
Mm-hmm.
Help them make that transformation from this earthly plane to that higher plane. And these people were really, this particular person was really into Tibetan Buddhism when I was doing this with her. But it didn't matter whether it was 10 minutes, 5 minutes, it was weeks on end. What mattered was the compassion there, was the love there. Did you care enough about the person to truly share this with them? And then, it could be the Tibetan Book of the Dead, the Tibetan Book of the Living, it could be, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
It really penetrates deeply inside. I'll never forget that person. I mean, it was Eleanor Olson, and she used to be the curator of Tibetan art at the Newark Museum. In fact, Eleanor was responsible for bringing Tibetan art to the West. And she was dying, And I remember sitting in her bedroom and she was curled up on the bed. I told the story, but she was curled up in the bed in a fetal position. And she hadn't moved from that position for like a day. And I sat there and I did a very profound meditation with her, very deep, and she came out of that fetal position. She sat up on the bed. She looked me directly in the face and said, "Thank you." Went back into the fetal position, the last thing she ever said.
Thank you, Stuart.
So it's not the book, it's you, what you bring to the situation.
It was a very peaceful, deep, and profound last 2 weeks, and I have great compassion and appreciation for it. So,
Oh, well, good. And that's the important thing, whether it's the Tibetan Book of the Dead, the Egyptian Book of the Dead, the Tibetan Book of the Living, the Bhagavad Gita, it doesn't matter. You can read it by rote, or it can come from the center of your heart. That's the only thing that matters. Even the words are bullshit if they don't come from the center of your heart. I mean it. I mean it.
Thank you.
Whose noise is that? Is somebody?
My elderly cat just came in.
Can you?
I will mute myself.
Please just mute yourself so we don't have the cat in the class.
Thank you.
Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? Okay, just one announcement. There's going to be a retreat in a month. It's full up. There's 4 people on a waiting list. And what I would like to announce is very simple. If you'd like to come and you're not on the waiting list yet, you can get your name on. And if I get at least 10 people that are interested in coming in June to the retreat, I will hold it on maybe the following week or something like that. I will do it. I can't do it that day. There's only so many people I can fit in my apartment, but I would be happy to do another retreat, say the week later. So if you're interested and want to attend and want to come, I'm willing to do the work if you're willing to do the work. It's really that simple, you know? Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? You can get in touch with Jennifer and she'll get in touch with me and tell me what's going on. Okay, thank you. God bless you all. And, you know, there'll be a class tomorrow evening and I'm looking forward to seeing everyone. Thank you. Bless you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Stuart. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.